Just wait for us to go live here. Okay, here we're live, guys. Let's just test out the audio prior to going in. All good? Perfect. So welcome to this quarter's AMA. Pleasure to have everybody here. If you are just tuning in now, we're just gonna kick things off. So let me just mute my speakers there so there's no feedback. So yeah, so the format for today, what I want to do is I want to highlight some of the stuff that's gone on in the last quarter, our objectives, what we set out to do, what did we do, so for Q1 of 2019, and then what the plan is for Q2 2019 here, so the next 3 months. From there, Nikos, our community manager here, has been collecting all your feedback and questions. So we have some of those. And then also we'll start tackling live questions as well. So yeah, feel free to put notes in the live chat. We are watching live here. So if you are in Telegram, actually just move your questions over to YouTube. That'll be easiest for us to monitor quite live questions as they go in. So as people come in, let me just sort of kick things off here and talk about what happened in Q1. And so if you look at our roadmap on quadrantprotocol.com, you'd see a couple items in there, and there's a couple more things we also got achieved. So the first thing is, at the beginning of the year, we released service credits to allow enterprise clients to access our services. So in November, we released our mainnet, and there's a truth when it comes to B2B sales, that procurement departments don't know anything about crypto, and their accounting policies and government, a lot of just standard accounting practice haven't been set out on how you actually purchase, acquire crypto, and from country to country, this is very different. So what service credits allow us to do, and why we released it, is that companies now can purchase the credits. We then us as a company can take those eQuad out of the market. They can get the services that they need and still be compliant. So we've had a lot of talk about why did we do this, and the simple truth is, like, we listen to what you guys, your questions and what you're asking, but the fact is that corporations and accounting practices haven't caught up to be able to consume B2B services. So we see comments all the time from some of our most vocal community members saying, okay, be on Bittrex, and enterprises will purchase. And well, the truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter if it's Bittrex or whatever the hottest current exchange is, enterprises can't just go out and purchase. So we had to put mechanisms in that allow still the usage of the token as sought out, but in a procurement manner that is compliant with regulations in multiple jurisdictions. So we released that, so that's up and running. Next thing is, team-wise, we did expand on our sales and data science. So now we have sales teams members in Singapore as well as the US. We have 3 new data scientists who kicked off in January here, working with us in the data and providing us insights to the data for our clients, as well as new products that are coming out. Actually, I'll go on the 2 tech fronts. So the 2 things in our technical roadmap. One was an SDK for collecting data from what we call the nurseries. And so this SDK was released in January of this year, so actually the beginning of the quarter. And actually, we can actually already report that we already have adoption on this. We already have tens of thousands of what we call nurseries, data sources, providing us data. So we signed 3 contracts in March of this year, people who are using our SDK, and even more importantly, or not more importantly, but even yesterday, signed another contract. There have been millions of devices will be sending us data, and that was signed last night. We did 2 more this week. So deployment of our SDK, not only did we release the tech, but we actually have corporations deploying it and actually consuming and providing us data with our technology. So that is a big thing for us, and we look to continue to report on this as Q2 comes, the adoption. So tech not only was released, but is commercially being actually used. Next, the AI microservices layer. So what is the AI microservices layer? Most of our clients operate in the location industry, and so what they're doing is they're trying to do, we have the raw location feeds, and then what they're trying to do is get analysis and insights and build products from this data. And the AI microservices layer, we released that, so that's now live. So that was one of our major goals for Q1 of this year, and that's live. And so what companies can do is that they can subscribe. There's 3 different tiers, and what each tier has just different algorithms based on, the tiers are based on sort of the complexity and how much work goes into us building these out. And it's a subscription model, so you can subscribe to these. If you're an enterprise and you're looking for insights, so say you're a bank or a retailer and you want to understand what's going on in your region with location. It's one thing to have the data, but it's also have the algorithms to actually use it. So not only do we provide the data, we're also providing the algorithms to jumpstart companies so they can actually use the data, and that's on a subscription model. So you use our token, so you subscribe using Quad. So there's the 3 tiers, so you can log in, see the pricing for that. It's a monthly subscription sold on an annual rate, so you subscribe for a year and you deposit your tokens and and you'll have access to these algorithms. As we go forward, we'll be working with our clients to basically build up more and more algorithms that are commercially viable, but commercially wanted, commercially needed. And so it's so now this is live. People can use the token. So if you are a data scientist, you just want to goof around, you picked up our token, so you can actually access services, and the stamping wasn't something, data verification wasn't something that was relevant to your business. That you can also now get algorithms, play around with them, and start analyzing. So that was deployed, and we looked at, we'll build more and more algorithms as the months go forward for people to consume to make that subscription model, the subscriptions even more relevant and powerful, that people will want to be able to consume these algorithms for their business. So that was our 2 major tech milestones. Both of them we did hit, so we're very proud that we got those released, one in early January and one at the end here. We had a couple community events. So every month we run on the 3rd week community event here. So 2 of them took place actually on our premise here in Singapore, as well as one of the Women in Tech events was out of WeWork, where Burka, our head of R&D, was presenting there, was on part of a panel. And so every month, we do have these monthly events, so we do welcome you to come on in. If you are in Singapore, we aren't, we're accessible, very easily accessible. Every month, you can come to our events. We'll have the next one. Just keep looking at the channel. It's the 3rd Thursday of every month. So please do come by, say hi, meet the team, and the topics each month revolve around based on our client use cases. So you'll see it's each month we'll be focusing on a client problem and the services that actually pertain to their industry in that. So come by, meet the team, and learn about what problems our data solves. Yeah, and then lastly I guess last in Q1 here, where we started working on our Elon program. So Nikos, when he's not in our chat room supporting the community there, he's working with our partners developing the program. So we look in Q2 to have some more word on how that program is going to look. Okay. Okay, so let's go into the next step here. So I'll just actually go into what our plan is, and then we'll start handling the questions here. I see a couple questions already in the chat, which is great. So feel free to put more questions in our live chat. So going forward here, so what's our plan for Q2? So the first thing is the data mapping framework. So in Q3, we'll be releasing the data smart contracts, and what we're doing is we're laying out all that. So building these data smart contracts, so when people are buying and consuming, everything is done, all the agreements that are done in these data smart contracts, which facilitate easier billing and so forth. So that will be one of the main focus of Q2 here. So data smart contracts, the partner program, in terms of our Elon program, that's over the course of the next 3 months, we'll be developing the framework for that and deploy that by the end of Q2. And the big thing here, I guess, is enterprise adoption. So we're halfway. So in terms of sales figures in that, we actually are doing quite well. So what we'll do in the next 3 months, there's a big drive for us to focus on revenue generating activities, the adoption, and then we'll be releasing that coming in. We'll be releasing those figures so people can understand, who's using it and how that's impacting the business. By the end of Q2 there. So we say we're already halfway towards our goal there. Hopefully the second quarter is as good as quarter one, and that will continue our momentum. And and how that relates, if you're coming in on the crypto side, you want to understand how that relates back to the business, I'll talk about that a little bit later on here via some of the questions that came through. And then, lastly here, in terms of, why don't I jump into, one of the things here is regarding always a question, exchanges. That's obviously Coinbene had an incident in the last week, to say the least. And that's affected a lot of things, and that we fully understand the impact that this has on the business. We've been working nonstop to ensure that we minimize the impact that an incident like this has. When that many tokens are taken from an exchange and are put into the open, that it affects the business and so forth. So there's a couple things regarding that. So when you look at it, so with Coinbene, we've been working with them daily. They haven't put an official notice out on how they're going to compensate and guarantee the deposits. So we're waiting for their official word on that. And as of 5/25, they still don't have an official word that we can relate to you in this AMA. But what we've been working on over the last couple of weeks is minimize the impact on the business, impact on where the tokens are. Obviously, they did move from the Coinbene wallet, as everybody can follow, and we've been following step by step as well, every single movement, where they're going, where they're coming from. And so the key thing is, one thing is that we're working to ensure that there's minimal impact on the token. Two is that with Coinbene working on their solution on how to ensure that the deposits that are in, so token holders, if you're watching this AMA, that you want to make sure you're protected as too. And so Coinbene has guaranteed in word that everybody's protected, but let's make sure we're all protected and do the right thing. So I would recommend anybody who does have deposits in Coinbene, take evidence of that, screenshots, ensuring that you have a track record of when you deposited your token in, and if you exchanged or not exchanged, and what your holdings were, so we can get a solution here on ensuring that your deposits are guaranteed, which were on Coinbene. And so in the meantime, that brings us to the next question on exchanges, and that obviously with having Coinbene freezing deposits and withdrawals, and us working with other exchanges to stop deposits during the hack or during this incident, that right now the liquidity is not there. So over the next course, first we'll remedy what's going on with Coinbene. It looks like it'll take at least another week for them to get all their ducks in order on what their next steps are here. But in the meantime, too, looking at other ways to ensure that there's liquidity in the market. That liquidity is important for anybody who's buying and wants to get access to the services. We understand that, and we will be working on that. So that is one of our initiatives going forward here. So let me go through here. Questions from the community. Okay, so the first one is Coinbene. Let me see if I missed anything there. That's good. Product development. So we had questions like, what's going on with the product? So as I mentioned, so in terms of the product development, there's two major things that we were looking at for releasing in Q1 of last year. One was the SDK to enable nurseries, what we call nurseries, data suppliers, to be able to provide data into our network. That not only was deployed, but it was commercially commercially deployed, signed contracts, people sending data in now. So that was one milestone we hit there. And the second one, the AI layer, also now live. Okay, so the crypto market. So we had a couple questions regarding the market in general. What's our plans on this, and with everything changing, we just had a rally, so everybody seems to be in a good mood in crypto today. But it's a very emotional market, ups and downs, ups and downs. So a couple things like regarding the Coinbene incident here, things are changing. That over the last from September until January, February is a very rocky market. Everything was going down. There wasn't really much true liquidity on many exchanges at all. They're still demanding very, very high fees for listings when they actually had no real volume. So that was an issue. That wasn't a major goal for us. And as data scientists out there have been releasing reports that there's a lot of fake volume and all that was going on. And so, but the market's changing. It's that cryptocurrency we truly believe in. It is a very powerful medium, and the markets will shift towards that. Adoption is going to shift. So our next steps here, one, is to ensure that there is proper liquidity, so people who want to use our network are able to get access to eQuad. So we won't be reliant on a single exchange or single point, especially when that point has compromises to its wallets. That we have to realize that we need to diversify. And then the other interesting question we did have was that was regarding Bluezell, one of our partner companies, saying if Bluezell got on Binance, why didn't you get on Binance? So when you look at it, Bluezell, when they got on Binance, when they did their ICO, that was early 2018, and when Binance wasn't charging listing fees. By the time June and July hit around, Binance was charging a $5 million listing fee. So the world changes all the time. So the reason why we were not on Binance from day one is in part because when you look at the fees and the high millions of dollars, it's not very pragmatic, especially on what the state of crypto was. But things are looking up now. So anyways, just regarding that's all I'll say on that one. Okay, so this is actually one of the big things that I can't go into full details on right now, especially with the state, what's happened with Coinbene, about regarding buyback. And so when are you going to do a buyback? So when you look at the term buyback, is usually when people just take the tokens off. We're doing a little bit of step ahead on this, and with our data smart contracts, we'll actually be able, we'll be creating the mechanisms right now that actually will be taking the token and the program that basically will be taking and using our token in these smart contracts. And the good thing is that we actually have the commercial contracts now that we can now incorporate into. So it's not like we're going to deploy the tech and then hope we get people to use it. We already have people in legal contracts. Now it's a matter of how we translate these into smart contracts. So technology-wise, that we're building out that tech right now. So that's part of our data mapping framework. And so in the term buyback is. The term buyback, are we just going out and just start buying the things? No, but it's going to be actually related to our revenue and related to the data contracts that we're doing. And so we'll release more news on that in the upcoming months as we release that tech. As well as we'll want to ensure when we do that too, there's a proper liquidity in the market, meaning that there's places for even us to go and acquire the eQuad to satisfy these contracts. So yes, definitely. So your question, are we looking at buybacks? Yes, extremely seriously here, and how we can ensure our products and services match with the usage of eQuad. It is a utility token, so let's make sure there's strong utility for it. Okay. Service credits. We had questions regarding service credits. Is that, what is the legal reason for that, and why is that not a scam? Yeah, so definitely it's not a scam. Like, we are an enterprise business. We are a Singapore registered business. We have to abide by regulations, compliance, tax laws, anti-money laundering laws. That's a reality when it comes to working any business that handles other people's money. So no, definitely service credits are not a scam. It's a mechanism that's required. It's just a reality. So anybody who deals with a procurement department in an enterprise would understand this as well, that it's really hard to get the person, the procurer, the accountant, to go out and try to get Ether, to try to figure out a way to get Ether, then go get tokens, and then buy it off an exchange, then come get to acquire your services. Unfortunately, we're not in a world yet where that is. You have to make the buying process as smooth as possible if you want adoption from enterprises, and that's the truth of the matter. Okay, communication policy. We had a couple questions here regarding you're not sending out enough information. So please do. So in terms of Nikos is live on Telegram, 7 days a week. I'm actually going in there myself. I read the message. I work with Nikos in the background to make sure we're supporting our community there. In terms of, we have blog.quadrant.io. That's where a lot of the information is being released on our product use case in that. And there's almost a posting coming out almost every week on there. We do have also the live events. So at a minimum once a month, we have events that you can come here, meet the team, talk to us. We'll actually have 2 events this month. One, it says Women Who Code, and then the other one, place here, actually are on the same day. So you have an option to go to 2 different locations, either meeting Burka and our tech, or coming here meeting our sales and marketing. And then we do have our monthly update letters that go out. So please do read those, read the blog posts, the emails, subscribe on quadrant.io to get access to all the latest information. If you are also an investor that you want to talk to me directly in that, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always, when there's other events in that, or when people are coming for conferences in Singapore, I'm always either hosting something, meeting up with people who are here while they travel through. So yeah, don't be shy. You don't have to get angry and say, hey, we want to talk to you guys. We're always open here. Please feel free to drop by our office. We're at 70 Shenton Way, floor 20. Unit 13. So yeah, please do drop by and come talk to us. Okay. One regarding circulating supply. So there's in terms of circulating supply on CoinMarketCap, it says 330 million, but on other sites it says 770 million. And so the correct one in terms of what is unvested is 770. So there is 770 tokens there that is unvested, and around 330 million that were sold within the private sale and the public sale. And so looking at the Ether, I'm just going to read this question out fully. Looking at the Etherscan transactions, it seems you guys, the QP team, slowly dumped over 400 million eQuad token on the Hotbit exchange. Explain. So that's a beautiful thing about Etherscan. With this coin bending incident, and even actually, ironically, the week before, I actually, out of my own interest, went through and started tracing all of our token to understand which of our private sale investors, where did it go, how much is actually on exchanges. And so when on the Saturday prior, I actually knew the exact amount that was in the coin bending wallets, just out of curiosity. And then when Nikos woke me up at 4 in the morning here when the incident happened, and we discussed it, that we could actually verify right away, is that we knew where this token was and how much got out. But the point being is that 2 things. One is that there definitely was not 400 million moved by Quadrant Protocol at all onto Hotbit Exchange. So it's like we have one is that we haven't sold any of our tokens, and that's 2 is that we haven't moved it to the Hotbit Exchange. So I'm not sure where that came from. At the time, 2 weeks ago, prior to the incident with Coinbene, there was only around 20 million tokens that were on it. Now it's around 57 million, and a lot of that came from the incident with Coinbene. But right now they've paused all deposits. So I'm not sure where this 400 million came from, but definitely, all the information's out there. It's very easy to trace, and definitely we have not moved our tokens. Okay. Token price, there's a lot of things regarding that, and yes, we do understand it. So this question came, the most important issue is token price. Remember, this is not charity, this is business. What is your plan to get token price in the above the ICO and fast? And so the first point is I fully agree that we are not a business, we're a charity. We are a business, not a charity. And so it's when you see a lot of things talking about like token, donate, all these things. We understand legally why a lot of companies have to say that. And there is legal reasons why you always have to word things a certain way. But for us, like, we are a business, and we fully understand that, and that's why we make the decisions we do. We get a lot of advice over the last 6 months on things that we should be doing as a crypto company or company with a token. And to be honest, when you look at it, when we're at token 2049, there are a lot of companies who did those things who are now out of business. There's also a lot of advisory firms who were advising on things like that, who are also out of business. When you look at it, that we do understand that there's certain dynamics that are at play definitely when you're dealing with a token that's freely available for people to be trading. But at the same time, we do have a business. We have a business, and we understand the implications of that. The worst thing I could do right now is have our business go bankrupt and make decisions that are for very short-term things. So like to the question regarding price and what are you going to do to get your price above the ICO and fast. And so in terms of pricing, we've seen projects, we know projects that basically inflated their price as much as they could, and then went bankrupt and had nothing. So their investors lost. The people who purchased it lost. There was a quick dump. They drained all their coffers and they're gone. And so it's we understand the reality of what's going on. And so the thing is that as a business and not a charity, that as a business, things take time. It's not going to be overnight. To make any successful product or business succeed, is that it does take time. It does take effort. It takes long nights for a long period of time. It's not overnight. You get a million customers and everything is running perfectly and everything, and then investors can cash out. And so we are making the right decisions for the business, making sure that we're sustainable, and that this will have good dividends for our investors in that. So as price, obviously we can't speculate anything on price on that. All we can tell you is what we're achieving, and then what we're doing going forward here, and that's what we'll continue to focus on. Okay, so here's one. So I also see, so in the live chat, we have, when did you cash out your ICO earnings? And then we had a bunch of questions on this. So what kind of reserve funds do you have? When did you sell your ICO funds? And so we did treasury management. So we were actually pretty good at this, that we balanced it. So did we cash out all of our funds right away? No. We kept a balance between there. So in terms of, so basically we were one of the projects that actually did treasury management to make sure that as a balanced approach to having some ETH, some BTC, as well as USD to ensure operations. And so right now we're budgeted to basically hit profitability before those things run out. And as a business, that is the best business decision to make, is to have a balanced approach to treasury. Okay, I'm gonna read this one. This is a long one, but I think it's best I just read it out so I can discuss it. Regarding Coinbene, as long as you say there's no hack, there's no problem. It's a big exchange and they have funds to cover any situation. I have a couple million eQuad in there. I think that Coinbene will deliver. You guys worry about the price and liquidity on new exchanges, simple as that. Okay, so actually that wasn't the one I was thinking there, but Yeah, there's a longer one in a second here. So yeah, I agree. So Coinbene, how they deal with it is still their decision. That as a big exchange, the whole as they say, they're guaranteeing the deposits on there. Let's hope they come through with that. They haven't given me the exact way they are going to guarantee that, but we are in discussions daily on that. I'm waiting for their word on that. So hopefully, if you guys trust them, we can trust them too. But you know. Some people trust Coinbene, some people don't. But the key thing is that as people who deposited in there, hopefully that this gets resolved as painless as possible. Sorry, this is the one this is the one I'll just take some of the sentences. The Coinbene token seems to have changed hands a few times. Yeah, so they said Coinbene changed a few times and resold in Hotbit. It sounds like an inside job rather than a hack, since Coinbene won't admit the hack and will cover up with their own funds. So they're sort of insinuating that there's some insider job here. We have nothing to do with what went on in Coinbene. We're just trying to do as much damage control as possible. So yeah, there's definitely no insider job on our front. There's hundreds of tokens that are affected by this, some more than others. But because Coinbene was one of our exchanges, our few exchanges that you can actually purchase eQuad on, that we're just making sure it affects us more, so we're just making sure. But yeah, there was no inside job. There's a lot of swearing in this one, so I won't do this because we will keep this one. But yes, it wasn't an inside job. We have nothing to do with the hack at all, and we're just trying to make sure that we recover and make sure that it doesn't impact those holding tokens. Okay, let's go in here. Sir, when ICO price or even 0.5x even. So you know, as everybody knows, legally we cannot talk about price or speculation. So you just have to understand that's a reality of it. We cannot talk about price or speculation. Well, as I discussed before, some of the initiatives that we're working on right now as a company is ensuring the data smart contracts, that with the data smart contracts, that whenever companies buy and sell data, those funds utilize the token. So we're ensuring that there's a direct reflection on. So we already have the services, so with the data stamping and now the AI marketplace, people can purchase services using the token. And next is now translating all the data that's actually flowing through a network between the buyers and sellers, translating those contracts into a smart contract that would utilize the eQuad. And so with that, there will be that buyback mechanism that we'll be doing. So and we'll release more news on that going forward. Within Q2 here, and then yeah, so unfortunately that's all I can really say on that, and we'll just keep deploying our tech and hitting our commercial milestones, and then we'll see how the secondary markets go. How much helpful blockchain for financial sector in India? So this is, I guess, a more general question here regarding blockchain in general. Yeah, there's a lot of different deployments of it. Where we come in is when companies are transacting data between each other and need authentication for that. So when you look at the financial sector, even when you look at the marketing, so with us, financial institutes are always trying to understand their consumers better. So when you look at the retail banking sector, they're trying to do analysis on the movement of people. They can actually use our data to enable these use cases. So say you want to know where to put an ATM, or you want to understand how people flow through the city, where do they go, market to certain types of people, maybe high frequent travelers. They all can use our data feeds to provide those type of insights into their customer base and their services. There were no fixed fee. Okay, yeah, so in terms of the no fixed fees, there's a reality in crypto, what people say in blog posts, and there's a reality when you actually go to list. So it's, yeah, you do have to understand. So yeah, there was no fixed fees maybe before, then there was times when the people had fixed fees, and there's times when they said they don't when they actually do. Keeping people nameless, we even had one of the top, so we'll say in the top 5, top 10, say top 5 exchanges say to us that, you know, there's no fee, it's free, but you have to provide us $1 million within 2 days after. And so although it was free, there was no listing fee, Legally, there's no listing fee. We would still have to provide them over $1 million. That's 1.5 million. And so there is a reality of when people say there is no fees, and then there's a reality of what they ask for you to get listed on there. So that's it's not always as simple as people like to put in public. There's the smoke. There's a little bit of smoke and mirrors that goes on for a lot of listings. Yep. Okay. So is there any more questions? If anybody else has any questions in the chat, please do. Let me see. There was a couple more that Nico's put up. Well, okay, I'm just going to check a couple other chat logs here. Anything else? I'm going to ask Nico's here if anything else. Other chats. Oh yeah, that's good, guys. So if there's no more questions right now, I'll sign off there and we'll just once again just recap. So for Q2, so please do come out to any one of our events. Every month there's an event here, 70 Shenton Way in Singapore. Come meet the team, come talk to us, learn about what we're doing with our clients, learn about what problems we're solving, and just come by, say hi, have a coffee, a Coke, as well as. We'll be working on commercial adoption, so we look to have some figures on that ready for you guys later on this quarter, so you can understand the impact of revenue that we're actually generating from the system and how that impacts all of our stakeholders. We'll be on tech side. We'll be working on some compliance things as well as this data mapping framework. So we'll be releasing more news on that blueprint later on at the end of Q2 here. So thanks a lot for tuning in. Please do send the questions and talk soon.